Could everybody please stand for the presentation of colors by the Newport News Police Department Honor Guard, followed by the singing of the national anthem by Miss Alexis Porco, followed by the Newport News Police Pipes and Drums Band.
Detail, present, ho!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Detail, order, ho!
I've learned to wait until they exit before I ask you to be seated because no one ever hears me if I don't. So you may be seated. I'm Kelly King. On behalf of the Newport News Police Department, I'd like to welcome our distinguished visitors, our newly promoted officers, family members, friends, and police personnel to our 2021 promotional ceremony. I would also like to thank Ms. Alexis Porco for performing the national anthem and beautifully, and our always amazing NNPD Honor Guard and NNPD Pipes and Drum Band. Just have a few introductions. To my right is, of course, our Chief of Police, Steve Drew. Our guest speaker today, Mr. Hal Smith. City Manager, Ms. Cindy Roth. And then we have... On the back row, we have Assistant Chief Mike Grinstead, our Vice Mayor, Dr. Sandra Cherry, and our Assistant City Manager, Mr. Alan Archer. I'd also like to take a minute to once again thank the Newport News Police Foundation and Huntington Ingalls for their unwavering support of this department, and in particular, these special events. So thank you. And I would also like to thank Reverend Dr. Dwight Riddick and his team, and especially Reverend Cheney, for allowing us to use Gethsemane Baptist Church to celebrate our promotions. At this time, Reverend Dr. Riddick will deliver the invocation.
May we bow our heads. Gracious and eternal God, we are grateful for the gift of this day and for this time of celebration. We thank you for those who have prepared and given themselves to share in this service of protecting our community. We pray your blessings upon each of them today as they're being promoted. And we ask, oh God, for your continued blessing upon the leadership of our police department. Be pleased with all that will occur in this place today, and we give you thanks. In the name of he who orders our steps, amen.
Okay, we're going to get started with our program. We all know working with the youth, the future of our community, is one of Chief Drew's passions. We see it every day. No NNPD ceremony would be complete without their unique perspective, and Chief Drew does not miss an opportunity to give them a voice. Today, Abdallah El-Rahal, a rising senior at Denby High School and one of our young adult police commissioners, will share a few words.
Good morning. My name is Abdallah El-Rahal, one of the Newport News Police Department Young Adult Police Commissioners. Some of you may recognize me through the many youth programs I participated in with the Newport News Police Department. I attend Denby High School's Aviation Academy and the Governor's School for Science and Technology. I'm a rising senior. Before I begin, I would like each of the officers here to look at another officer and repeat after me. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are needed. The citizens of Newport News appreciate you and the work you do. You are a good person and do an excellent job as a police officer. Congratulations to everyone on your promotions. You guys deserve it. We have an amazing police department, and it's because of you. Keep up the good work. Yes, we do appreciate you. When I see all the turmoil happening in communities around our country involving police officers, I know I don't have to worry about that in our community. I'm not naive. I realize you make mistakes, as we all do, but I know in all of your hearts you have a desire to do your best for our community. To be honest and fair with everyone you interact with and to do your job with the utmost integrity. Our community's officers display this every day. It is displayed in our personal interactions with the community. It is displayed in the moment you stop your patrol vehicle to say hi to the group of kids playing basketball, soccer, and you decide to spend 15 minutes of playing the sport with the kids. It is displayed when you take the time to walk with the citizens in the neighborhoods. It is displayed when you make eye contact and display the proper body language that shows you are genuine in your concern for our citizens' concerns. It is displayed in the leadership style of our police department. I have not always understood the decisions of our city, but they sure got it right when they hired Chief Drew for the job. I won't divulge too much, but I can tell each and every one of you he genuinely cares about you. He speaks so highly of you guys to the youth adult police commissioners. He feels for each of you from his heart. He really cares for you. We are here today to recognize each of you, but before that, I want to challenge each of you to start a new habit or continue a habit you may already be doing. Please, when you're on duty, take the time between your calls to have a positive interaction with the citizens, both adults and youth. Have conversations with them about sports, about fishing, about their concerns. Ask them what they think or what they need. Just make eye contact and say hi. Help someone load their groceries into their vehicle. It helps people to see you as a person and not just a badge. It helps with how the public views officers. It's a kind gesture. It's a break from all the negativity. I have participated in or graduated from the Leadership Academy Summer Camp, the Explorers Program, Youth Police Academy, and currently I am a young adult police commissioner. Prior to transferring to Deer Park, I attended Sedgefield Elementary. I enjoyed playing games with the officers and look forward to their visits. I remember being pushed to do my best while participating in the Leadership Academy hosted by the SRR unit at the U.S. Coast Guard base in Yorktown, Virginia. I remember having my bed flipped upside down because my roommates and I tried to pull a fast one, slept on the floor as to not mess up our beds, cleaned our room early, and woke up early to play video games in the common area of the barracks. Sergeant Falero, well played, sir. You caught us. I remember playing the air guitar with one of our officers and affectionately receiving a nickname from a Wayne's World movie character by all the officers at the camp. By the way, SRR Wilder, I still have that picture of you and I. I participate in the Hispanic Outreach Soccer event every year. I remember playing a pickup soccer game at the International Festival at Oyster Point. I also play pickup soccer games with many of the officers on weekends. I remember watching my dad play soccer with the department team, where he was a member of the team when he worked for the city. I have had really cool SROs assigned to my schools. You guys are really fun. I want the citizens to see how I have had the opportunity to see you. Gratitude is defined in the dictionary as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness, being appreciative. I am very thankful to all of the officers I have had interactions with throughout my youth. You have helped me shape who I have become and will continue to shape who I will become as an adult. The experiences I have had will forever be with me and will forever affect my behavior, choices, and interactions with people and police officers. You, along with my family and other mentors, have helped me to say no to drugs, no to smoking, no to vaping, yes to safe driving, helped me to develop my interaction and public speaking skills, and so many other things. Who have you helped me to become? Well, I used to be very shy and unaware of my capabilities. That is, until I began participating in the various NNPD youth programs. The officers and NNPD programs afforded me opportunities I could not find anywhere else. You have pushed me to work hard and always display good work ethic, to become ranked number 2 in my high school, to always try new things, to steer me in the right direction at school, to give back to my community by volunteering more than 1,100 verified hours by 11th grade, to become a glider pilot and a Cessna plane pilot, a semi-experienced public speaker, to become a leader in the Civil Air Patrol, determined, mannered, a team player, compassionate, athletic, not afraid to speak up and defend myself, able to see things in a new perspective. And most of all, you have helped me to build lasting, healthy relationships. You've had a huge part in grooming me to become the person I am today, and I thank you. So we all know how Chief Drew dislikes and worries about curveball surprises. I'm tossing in a curveball for him now, but it's a good one. I'll be a senior next year, therefore I'll be graduating. I have no idea if I'll have another opportunity to be with all of you again before I graduate. So I'm taking this opportunity to show my gratitude to the department. This is meant for each and every one of you that has had a hand in making me, and the kids like me, who we are through our interactions with us. It is also meant for each of you that will have interactions with us in the future. Do you know what a stole of gratitude is? Well, it's a stole worn at a graduation ceremony and is presented to someone that has provided extraordinary help or support. As mentors, you have all provided a great amount of support to me and other youth of the city, and we appreciate it. I would love to have presented this at my high school graduation, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to wear stole of gratitudes during the ceremony, and I don't know if I'll see you when the time comes. So I'm presenting my stole of gratitude to you early. I'm just one student, but this is for the whole department. But I challenge each of you to earn this stole. Chief Drew, will you please come forward? I got you early.
Ooh, I should have proofread that.
All right.
It's the only one I ever got.
Really? Is it allowed to go over?
Yeah. Let's see how it looks.
There you go.
What do you think?
What do you think? So I attend Dunbar Aviation Academy and the Governor's School for Science and Technology, which are the two schools listed here. The blue and red are my school colors. My stole represents the blue in our school colors. The D is for Dunbar. I've listed my two schools on one side of the stole, and on the other side, I've listed my two programs I participated in, Aerospace Engineering and at Dunbar Aviation Academy and Computational Sciences at Governor's School for Science and Technology. I'm graduating 2022, and my name is Abdullah. Thank you. I'm presenting this to the Newport News Police Department to show my gratitude to all of you for helping me become the person I am. Thank you. Remember to make a conscious effort to have positive interactions with the citizens of Newport News with every shift you work. It will make your job easier and make you feel good about the work you do. It also helps foster a change in how police officers are viewed by some people. Remember, I challenge each of you moving forward to earn this stole. Congratulations to each of you on your promotions. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah. On to our guest speaker. We're very fortunate today to have a community leader that shares Chief Drew's passion for our youth as our guest speaker. Mr. Hal Smith is the president and CEO for the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Virginia Peninsula. Hal was born and raised in Yorktown, Virginia. He is a 1994 graduate of George Mason University with a BS in Public Administration. Hal has been in the Boys and Girls Club movement for a total of 16 years as both a board member and staff. He's responsible for the operations, administration, and resource development of 12 sites, club sites, a workforce development center, and a youth development park. He's a graduate of the Boys and Girls Club Leadership University School of Executive Leadership through the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan. He's a member of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America's Government Relations Advisory Committee, which provides leadership and direction for sharing the message of Boys and Girls Clubs at the federal level. As CEO of the largest Boys and Girls Club organization in Virginia, Hal is actively engaged with the Virginia Alliance of Boys and Girls Club, which advocates for youth across the entire Commonwealth. He is also proud to serve as a board member for the Newport News Police Foundation. Please help me welcome Mr. Hal Smith.
Well, good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. I want to thank Chief Drew and the rest of the department for the opportunity to speak today. Just a few days ago, we had a wonderful court dedication ceremony at our club on Hampton Avenue, where we've engaged in a lot of positive activity with, as we just heard a few minutes ago, with the community, the kids that come to our club, and law enforcement. And one of the things that I talked about there was how proud that I was of the partnership that we have developed over many years with the Newport News Police Department, because I think as a community-based organization focusing on serving youth, we play a vital role in community policing. And with the court that we just got, that Chief Drew was so fortunate to provide a few words for us, we can take this opportunity and this partnership to the next level. I mean, we've got a model here that I think can be replicated in other communities across Virginia and across the Commonwealth. So I really appreciate the opportunity. What I've been asked to talk to you today about is leadership. And I really feel like leadership is something that's developed over time. Some people talk about, oh, that person is a natural born leader. And I think what they refer to is the behaviors that person exhibits that are similar to, what we see in great leaders. But I think through experiences that we have through our careers, both positive and negative, I think that's how we develop as leaders. So let me just start by just giving you a little bit of background on me. You heard in the introduction that I have the honor and privilege of serving as president and CEO for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Virginia Peninsula, and I'm proud of the fact that we have grown over the last 75 years to serve more kids in a community in Virginia than any other community that has a Boys and Girls Club organization. So that's something that obviously we want to continue on into the future. But prior to that, I've been in the nonprofit world for about 11 years. And as you heard, I graduated from college in 1994. So prior to that, I spent 16 years in the for-profit industry, the residential construction industry. We had a family business, and we focused on high-end remodeling and some new home building. So, after college, I spent about a year or two just in general sales, selling, renovation work and that type of thing. And then I kind of got more into a leadership or management role. And so I was like many young leaders. I thought I knew everything. I guess that's something that we all deal with as young people new in our careers. And obviously, I didn't know everything. I had a wonderful mentor in my father, who was a great leader of our organization, but he was kind of old school. He took a lot of responsibility on himself, and didn't, at times probably didn't spend enough time maybe developing leaders through our company. So as time went by, he retired, and my brother and I took the business over. And we had the smart idea to identify two people within our organization and give them, a title of vice president and kind of lift them up a little bit. But at that point, we still didn't quite understand the responsibility that we have as running the company to develop them as leaders, to provide opportunities for them to learn and grow through their professional development. So, as happenstance, 2007 hit, and the building industry started to go down a little bit. We started to make some changes and kind of redefine ourselves, but by the time the 2008 economic drop hit and the recession started, things got really difficult. By the end of 2009, I was still young enough that we decided to go into a different direction. Sometimes you lose your passion for what you're doing based on maybe circumstances out of your control. So at that point, I got the opportunity to join Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeast Virginia, where I was in charge of finance and operations. So at that point, that was kind of a defining moment, if you will, in my life. And from then on, I've thought about, I think with leadership, as I mentioned before, you really look at the past experiences that you've had, both positive and negative, and that helps define you as a leader moving forward. So for the last 11 years, I've really looked at the first part of my career. And you always ask questions, what could I have done differently? So as I look towards, running our organization now, which I can't believe I've actually been in this role for 5 years now, and it's obviously a tremendous amount of responsibility. So one of the values that we have of being affiliated with a national organization is having some professional development opportunities that we can participate in. You heard about the leadership programs that I went through the University of Michigan and Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And through that, along with experience, you also kind of pick up some things along the way that some principles about leadership that, kind of resonate with you. And I want to share something with you in my remarks today that hopefully will be something that will, inspire you or make you think as a leader. There were two gentlemen that developed what they call the 5 principles of exemplary leadership. It was a man by the name of Jim Kouzes and Brad Posner. They're actually from the United Kingdom. These are recent principles that they've developed. But they're pretty basic and pretty simple. So I just want to first say that what they did at the beginning of this is they decided we're going to define what is leadership. We think about leadership, but sometimes we fall into the category of being a manager and not being a leader. So they defined leadership as the art of mobilizing others to struggle for shared aspirations. So the easiest thing I can do is kind of break this down into what we do at Boys and Girls Clubs. When you look at shared aspirations, it's my job as the CEO of the organization to gather all of our team members together, identify leaders, and make sure that we are all, going for the common goal, what our shared aspirations are. So for Boys and Girls Clubs, we want our kids to have academic success. We want them to understand the importance of living a healthy lifestyle, and third, and maybe most important, understand the importance of building a great character and leadership skills. So once you define what these aspirations are, then these are just some 5 quick principles that kind of help you get to your desired goal. The first one is very simple: model the way. It's really setting the example for how you are going to align your actions to what your shared aspirations are. It's really setting the example for your organization. One thing I did learn from my father over the years is I'm never going to ask anyone to do something that I myself would not be willing to do. So you're really setting the example. The second is inspire a shared vision. We all need to know as leaders that we have an end goal. There's an end result. We've got aspirations, and how are we going to get there? So Boys and Girls Clubs, last year we developed a strategic plan that we got approved with our board and with our staff. So our vision statement is to maximize available resources, opportunities, and efficiencies to deepen the impact on the lives of youth on the Virginia Peninsula. So how can we take more of the resources that we have or that we are given and put more into our programs, into our personnel, and make a deeper impact on the lives of kids? So for us, that's what our shared vision is. Obviously, the Newport News Police Department has a shared vision as well. So, it's everyone's responsibility through the ranks to, kind of amplify that message to those that they lead. This is I think one of the most important principles. It's called challenge the process. What that means is don't always be satisfied with status quo. Take a look at different opportunities to create a more efficient way of trying to achieve those aspirations or achieve that mission. This is a way that you can really engage people within your organization to empower them to think about, okay, well, if this is our desired outcome, is there a different way that we can get to that outcome and it maybe is a little more efficient and a little bit less costly, but we still have the same impact. So that's something that we are really focused on with Boys and Girls Clubs. But it's my responsibility as the CEO to make sure that our staff feel comfortable to be able to look at different ways of doing things. And then number 4 is called enable others to act. This is where you're fostering collaboration within your organization and building trust and facilitating relationships. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned as a leader through my 27-year career now is not only focusing on building relationships externally, but internally. If I'm building a strong relationship with a leader in our organization, you know, I'm entrusting them to carry out our mission. It goes from the top and it filters all the way through, and you've got leaders all throughout the organization. So to me, this is a key for developing leaders, is empowering them and enabling them to act. And the last of these principles is encourage the heart. No matter what age we are or what point we are in life, we always love being recognized for our accomplishments. And that's something that we've really focused on in Boys and Girls Clubs with our kids, is to recognize when they make the honor roll, or they do well in sports, or they have a wonderful art project that they've worked on. Well, you know what? That translates through to life as well. We all love to be recognized. So when you look at those 5 principles, they're not really that difficult to comprehend. This is not rocket science. But I think the hardest part about leadership is spending the time, investing the time that you need. We all talk about how busy we are. And yes, there's easier things that we could do to focus on. But if we invest the time in our staff, in our team, it's going to pay off, I can promise you. Because in a large organization, you know, Chief Drew and the assistant chiefs, they can't do everything. It's got to be carried out through the organization. You know, we heard earlier about the importance of spending time in the community. And obviously that is something that is near and dear to Chief Drew's heart, but he's got to make sure that message is amplified through the ranks. So it's very important to invest the time necessary into leadership, and I can promise you the payoff is worth it. So I just want to finish by identifying 3 examples. When I think about examples of great leadership, what resonates to me? One is something that, you know, that we experienced almost 20 years ago. We all remember, or most of us, I can say, remember 9/11. And you remember, you know, that day, that morning that everything happened at the World Trade Center. And then the end of the day, when President Bush comes and he's got the megaphone and he's standing on the rubble, and all of the public service personnel are there between fire and police, and, you know, just reacting and taking action. And I can't tell you what he said, but just the visual of what he said really resonated with me, and I'm sure resonated with those folks there. So sometimes it's not so much what you say, it's just the presence that you have. Now, a little bit closer to home. As we know, about 1.5 years ago, Officer Katie Thine was killed in the line of duty. This was right in the time that we had our basketball program with the police department, and it was actually 2 days before we were gonna have our championship game at our Greater Hampton Roads Club on Hampton Avenue. And the easy way out, the easiest thing would be, you know what, let's postpone this, let's do it a week, let's do it a couple weeks down the road. But the leadership that the department had was, you know, obviously Katie would want this game to happen. And everybody showed up that day, and we had the conclusion of our season. We honored her, and then obviously later she was honored at the funeral. But that resonated with me as an important example of some great leadership. And then finally, in February of 2019, one of our club members, Stephen, who was a resident of Marshall Courts, was going to the club and was unfortunately the result of a shooting in the community. And I think back to what our staff did that day. As the police are there investigating the crime, and he's lying there on the pavement, and there's a sheet over him, and our staff still had to make sure that our kids got into the facility and were taken care of okay. And sometimes the best leadership comes out of crisis situations. So You know, I was just moved by the way our staff jumped in. And that's a credit, not to me, it's a credit to all the leaders that we had in our organization. Just like that day at the basketball game, you know, right after Officer Thine was killed, everybody that showed up there, that's because of the leadership that goes through all levels of the police department. So let me just close by saying congratulations in advance to all the promoted officers. And this is, I think, the third promotion that I've been to, and it really resonates with me how the families are involved. You know, I come from a field, even though there's times that I miss time with my family because of work commitments, I still come from an area where family's first. And that's not always the case with the police department. So I really do appreciate the, you know, the sacrifice that not only the officers make, but the families make as well. And I think it's really cool that, that the families get to be part of the promotion ceremony. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Chief Drew, thank you for all you do for our community and for our kids on the peninsula.
Okay, now we will hear from our Chief of Police, Steve Drew.
Good morning, mid-afternoon. Breathe a little bit. I got this 5-hour speech, so I'm ready. I'm gonna, somebody over here said, uh-oh. Look, so I'm gonna be very, very brief. I got some thank yous that I wanna say, and the speakers that have come before me have really summed it up. But I first want to thank Dr. Riddick, Pastor Riddick, so much for allowing us to use his facility. It's a beautiful, beautiful sanctuary and campus. He is a mentor to me. He's one of the first people that I got to spend time with and talk to. And we've talked a lot about community and youth, and he is a big supporter of police and community working together. And it just means the world to me. I cannot tell you how thankful I am to allow you, to allow us to be in your house today. I just really want to say thank you to that. We're here for a promotion ceremony. There are some people in the room that took part in that. You know, in times past, maybe the chief or the assistant chief sit down, we had a one-on-one conversation, we decided who would get promoted. And there's a whole process, right? We do things, we send out to different states, and we have different assessors, but at the end of the day, there's that final interview where we gotta make some hard decisions. Who's gonna lead this organization as we move into the future? Not just now, but in the future. Because most of these individuals, I expect them to be here another 15 or 20 years. I think, right? That means you too, J.P. Smith. No early retirements. But this is the future. When we talk about leadership, if you turn your heads to the back, or if you saw all these much younger individuals walk in here, that's 2 police academies back there. Some took advantage of the seats, but there's about 42 individuals here that are getting ready to join this police department and serve the citizens of this community, of this great city. And they're going to be entrusted to these individuals. That's a heavy responsibility. That's a heavy responsibility. First, I want to point out Pastor Maxwell of New Beach Grove Baptist Church, a mentor to me. He's also the president of the NAACP. He has a huge, huge impact on the community and our police department. He's a police chaplain. Pastor Maxwell helped set on a panel to select our next assistant chief. He was joined by Dr. Alvian Lyons. She tried to sit in the back, but Lieutenant Morgan, I appreciate you getting her up here. I appreciate that. She tried to sit back there in the back, hide from everybody. I appreciate you being here today because she also sat on that same panel. Other members that are here, Ms. Carrie Cox, also a member of the NAACP, very activist in Richmond and here in Newport News. She's helped us out. If I don't mention her, I know she's going to watch it, Hal. So used to be with the Boys and Girls Club here. She's now down in New Orleans, but Miss Angel Nelson, she sat on a panel and helped us select the next leadership in this department. Dr. Rita Twiggs, who's not here today, also helped sit on the panel and select leadership of this department. Why would we do that? Why would I want citizens to come in and help me select who is going to be the leaders of this organization? So believe it or not, citizens ask different questions than I do. They ask different questions. So there's a couple things that I want them at the table for. I want the leadership in this organization as we move forward to recognize that citizens have an input. I want them to hear the questions that they're asked. And I also want the citizens to know that their opinions matter, they're valued. Now, leadership is tough, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I've heard comments about service, and I've heard comments about examples about what we do. And there's a couple things, as I talk to this group, that we're getting ready to have your families come on and pin badges on you. These individuals have been promoted for a while. That's a disclaimer. We didn't get to have a ceremony last year because of this pandemic. But I think it's important enough to recognize the men and women with this achievement that they deserve their time, their moment with their families. And because of that, I need to say thank you to another group. Thank you to the families that allow your family members to work in this department, to work in this field, to serve the citizens of this great city. It matters. Captain Tegens, what we do matters. It makes a difference. It impacts people's lives. And I'm getting ready to entrust this group with not only the new officers that are coming on this department to choose this city to work in, to serve our citizens of Newport News, but to develop future leaders. When we talk about reimagining police and what's next on the horizon, these are the individuals that are going to help get us there. Now, there's two other individuals that I need to point out. Ms. Karen Witherspoon, I know I saw it. Ms. Karen Witherspoon, the director of the Human Resource Division in our department. None of this would be happening if she wasn't here. And Lindsay Ivey, who's also with the Human Resource Department in our department, to make sure that we don't do anything wrong, that we get it right. And Karen has also sat on panels and helped me make decisions as the next direction we go, and constantly reinforces how important leadership is in agencies. Leadership matters. The days of coming to work and just worrying about yourself are over. Now you're coming to work and addressing and focusing on the 10 or 12, the 25, the 35, the 150, the 200 individuals that you're responsible for. That is an additional burden, but it matters and it's important. These individuals, I thank them for taking part in the process. I thank you for the challenges that they're going to take on. But I challenge them to invest in two groups, I guess three. One is their families and draw strength from each other. The second is the men and women that not only you supervise, but listen to me, the men and women that you are responsible for. It is not just about signing off paperwork and making sure people are there. It is the men and women that you are responsible for in their career, their professional development. I want you to care about them and their families and what they want to do. Leadership matters, and one of the programs or examples that Hal talked about in 9/11, leadership matters. It's ringing in my ear. Dr. Lyons tells me that all the time. We'll have a conversation. Before she hangs up, she'll say, Steve, remember, leadership matters. Helps keep me grounded. The third group I want you to make sure that you're responsible for is our community, our citizens, the individuals that we serve in this great city. The leadership we have here with our city manager, our mayor, our city council. Look at who's here today. Probably the most popular person on stage is Cindy Roth, and the officers know why I'm pointing her out as our city manager. All I get is claps about all that, high fives when they see her, right? Our assistant city manager, Alan Archer. Our vice mayor, Dr. Cherry. The text message I got from the mayor last night to have a good ceremony. It is a great relationship, and the leadership of this city is very demanding, and that's the way it should be. They expect excellence. I think the men and women of this organization, I give them all the credit, are doing a pretty good job. And we have other states across this country calling us, asking how we're doing things. How are you recruiting? How are you doing those promotions? How are you doing so much with youth? It was a great speech, by the way. I should have proofread it. I knew it. Too much chance on that, Petrosky. I should have proofread that. Outstanding job in singing. Thank you so much. I got to hear you last Sunday, and when I heard you were coming today, it's perfect. Thank you. That was beautiful. Lieutenant Harrison, are you here? Got some competition, my friend. I'm just saying. So, Yeah, so just my final words to the group here, the promotees. I know some of you have been doing it for a while. I rely on you. I need you guys. This community needs you. The young officers, they need you. The situations that we face as we move forward and being progressive in this not only this state, but we need you. That comes with a lot of responsibility. But you would not be sitting here with those ranks if I didn't believe in you and members of this community didn't believe in you. So for that, I want to tell you congratulations. So we get ready to do these badges, and I'm going to ask Chief Grinstead to join me for a minute. I need to highlight 2 examples, and I'm going to go down here, and Kelly, you're going to call the names up, and we're going to do some recognition. But first, when we talk about examples, right, Captain Tegens, what we do matters. It makes a difference. I'm going to go back a couple weeks. Anybody here familiar with SOL testing? Nobody's familiar with SOL testing. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, young man. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, right, so I guess you have to be at a certain place at a certain time to take the test, right? So a young man, Aiden Williams. Aiden is going to take his test. He's ready. But he misses the bus, or the bus doesn't there, but something happens and he doesn't get to school on time where he needs to be. So Aiden whips out his phone and he calls his mother. His mother's working. She can't get to him. She's in a panic. Now, how do I know all this? Because I walked into the office and my assistant, Donna, is in tears, rolling down her face. And she's handing me the phone. She hands me the phone, and this individual I'm talking to on the phone is in tears, right? I hear the emotion. I got to talk to you, Chief. I got to tell you. I got to tell you. I got to tell you. Oh my gosh, what did I do? What did Grinstead do? And she tells me the story. Aiden didn't get to school when he was needed to be there right away. So she calls Aiden. Well, how'd you miss the bus? Why isn't it there? And they're going back and forth, and there's panic going on. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And Aiden says, wait a minute, Mom. I see a police officer. She said, wait, what? He said, well, hold on. I'm going to go over and flag this police. I'm going to go talk to this officer. So he flags this officer down, right? This officer pulls up. What are you doing? He says, I'm supposed to be at school. They have this conversation. Then I get back to the tears again, right? I'm like, just talk to me. Just talk to me. Okay, Chief. Okay, Chief. Next thing she says is her son's in this police car. He gets a ride to school, takes his test. She said, my son didn't get the name of the officer who did that, but he was smart enough to get the number on our vehicles. For all you recruits back there, we put numbers on vehicles so we know who's driving what, just so you know. So Aiden gets the number and he tells his mom. His mom says, I never met him, I don't know him, but he gave me the number. So Brittany, who works with Chief Grinstead, looks it up. And I saw the name, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I would expect. So I called this officer on the phone. I said, this happened? Yes, Chief. I said, did you let him drive the car? His response was, no, sir, but I let him pick the radio station. So going back to the conversation with his mother, she's crying, right? And I'm like, well, so it's a good thing, right? But she says, Chief, he passed his SOL. So that moment, I should have had you do this. That moment made a difference in her life, as it did Aiden's. So, they're here today. Aiden, can you stand up for me? Congratulations on passing the test. Don't sit down yet. I'm going to ask your mom to stand. Miss Williams, shake your head. I didn't embellish on this story, right? I'm telling the truth, right? All right. I want you both to look over your left shoulder. I want D.B. Daniels to stand up. That's the officer that gave Aiden a ride to school. Thank you so much. Aiden, I got a little something for you afterwards. Please don't run out of here. I got something for you. But I want to thank you for that phone call, and I hope these officers see that and the officers here, what we do matters. Something very small made a huge impact on you and your son. And I appreciate you both. Congratulations, by the way. So, without further ado, myself and Chief Grinstead are going to go down here. I think Kelly's going to come forward. We're going to call some families up here and present some badges. Here's a secret to all those presenting badges today. If you try to put the badge on and clasp it, you're going to be up there for about 10 minutes. If you just stick it in the slot on the top, they can fix it when they get back up here. It's just some advice because we've seen some things happen. Be careful when you push it in. Some of these individuals might be a little tender. But I will tell you, I appreciate you all being here today. This is important. It is their day. They deserve it. The point I'm trying to drive home is things that we do every day make a difference in this community. It makes a difference in people. And it could be the smallest thing, from a ride home or saving somebody's life. It all matters. Congratulations.
Okay, you guys ready? This morning we are celebrating the accomplishments of these amazing men and women who have contributed their time, talent, expertise, and dedication to the Newport News Police Department, earning them a promotion with greater responsibility and more opportunities to truly make a difference. We are certain they will be instrumental in making the Newport News Police Department even greater than it is. As I read your name, please join Chief Drew with your family down front. First, Planning Administrator Nathan Miller. Nathan joined the Newport News Police Department on January 20, 2006. During his career, he has served as the department's accreditation manager, helping the department, one of 19 agencies in the nation, to achieve CALIA's Triarch status. He served as the president of the Virginia Association of CALIA Accreditation Professionals from 2011 until 2021, and is a member of the International Association of Law Enforcement Planners. He holds a bachelor's degree from Old Dominion University. He was awarded the Department Civilian of the Year Award in 2011. Nathan was promoted to Planning Administrator on September 7, 2020. Congratulations. Sergeant William Dane. Sergeant Dane joined the Newport News Police Department on May 1, 2004. During his career, he served in Central Precinct as a patrol officer, as a member of the Mentor Program, as a field training officer on the Central HIP Unit, and as a property crimes detective on the Auto Theft Unit. He was promoted to MPO in July 2011 and served in major crimes in the Special Victims Unit and in North Precinct as a field training officer. Sergeant Dame has received 3 Outstanding Police Performance Awards, Team Effort Awards with the Central HIP Unit, and a letter of commendation from former City Council member Herb Bateman. He was promoted to Corporal in July 2020, then promoted to Sergeant on May 31, 2021, and transferred to Major Crimes Special Victims Unit, Domestic Violence Unit. Sergeant Dame is joined today by his father, Walter, who will be pinning him. Congratulations. Sergeant Jacqueline Hauser. Sergeant Hauser joined the Newport News Police Department on September 12, 2012 as a 911 dispatcher. After becoming a certified call taker, she joined the police academy and graduated in 2013. During her career on patrol, she was assigned to Central Precinct as a patrol officer and later as a field training officer. Sergeant Hauser furthered her career as a detective for Central Precinct investigations, then advanced to the Major Crimes Division as a homicide detective. She is a current member of the Crisis Intervention Team, the Crisis Negotiations Team, and the Critical Incident Stress Management Team. She is also a general instructor and a driving under the influence instructor. Sergeant Hauser is currently working toward her bachelor's degree in criminal psychology from Liberty University. She was promoted to sergeant on May 31, 2021, and transferred to South Precinct. She's joined today by her mother, Diane, her sister, Jennifer, her husband, Charles, and her son, Wyatt, and her niece, Emma. Congratulations. Sergeant Hak J. Kim. Sergeant Kim joined the Newport News Police Department on June 27, 2005. During his career, he has served as a patrol officer in all 3 precincts, a field training officer, and is a member of the Crisis Negotiations Team. During this time with the department, Sergeant Kim has received a Silver Medal of Valor, a Bronze Medal of Valor, 9 MAD Awards for DUI arrest, 2 Outstanding Police Performance Awards, and the 2009 Knights of Columbus Officer of the Year Award. He was promoted to sergeant on October 19, 2020, and transferred to Central Precinct. He is joined today by his wife, Anne, and his 2 daughters, Lorelei and Amelia. Sergeant Jason Thompson. Sergeant Thompson joined the Newport News Police Department on January 8, 2007. During his career, he served on patrol and the HIP unit out of South Precinct as a field training officer and as a detective with the Organized Crime Division Narcotics Enforcement Unit. He was promoted to Master Police Officer in 2015, and in that role, he served as a member of the Violent Crimes Reduction Task Force, as a lead instructor at NNPD Undercover School, as an undercover officer for Joint Narcotics Indictment Operation with Hampton Police Division, and as a detective with major crimes on the Aggravated Assault Unit. He also served as a certified narcotics and canine handler through Virginia Police Work Dog Association and canine handler in OCD from 2013 to 2017. He is CIT certified and a member of the CISM team. Sergeant Thompson has received the Chief's Award for Weapon Recovery, Detective of the Month, Team Effort of the Quarter with Investigations, South Precinct Officer of the Quarter, and South Precinct Officer of the Month. He was promoted to sergeant on May 31, 2021, and transferred to North Precinct. Sergeant Thompson is joined today by his wife, Lacey, daughter Addison. Lacey has pinned her husband. Sergeant Stephen Stepp. Okay, I'm sorry.
So I was talking to Jason the other day, and he said, you know, Chief, I get misrecognized by a lot of the community. A lot of people call me another name. What do you call you, Jason? You sure?
Sergeant Stephen Stepp, Jr. Sergeant Stepp joined the Newport News Police Department on June 16, 2008. During his career, he has served as a North Precinct Patrol Officer on North Precinct's High Impact Patrol Unit and Precinct Investigations Detective in the Central and North Precincts. He has also served as a detective in the Special Victims Unit, where he was a task force officer for Homeland Security investigations specializing in human trafficking. Sergeant Stepp is a general instructor and firearms instructor and is a senior operator on the Tactical Operations Unit. He was nominated for Outstanding Police Performance Teamwork Award as well as a Life-Saving Award. He was promoted to sergeant on October 19, 2020, and assigned to South Precinct. Sergeant Sepp is joined today by his wife Sarah, daughter Addison, son Grayson, his parents, his brother and sister-in-law, and nephew and niece-in-law. Sergeant Sepp would like to acknowledge his wife's unwavering support while battling and beating cancer last year. Sarah will be pinning her husband. Sergeant Justin Sturgis. Sergeant Sturgis joined the Newport News Police Department on July 16, 2006. During his 15-year career, he has served as a patrol officer, field training officer, and master police officer. Sergeant Sturgis has been a member of the Tactical Operations Unit since September 2016 as a logistics officer. In August of 2020, he was appointed to corporal for South Precinct. Sergeant Sturgis is currently attending Strayer University, pursuing a degree in criminal justice. During his career, he has received a Bronze Medal of Valor and 2 life-saving awards. He was promoted to sergeant on December 28, 2020, and he is currently assigned to Central Precinct. Sergeant Sturgis is joined today by his wife, Stevie, his daughter, Arabelle, son, Trace, and his grandmother, Beatrice Sullivan. His grandmother will be pinning him. Sergeant Michael Waxman. Sergeant Waxman joined the Newport News Police Department on January 16, 1994. During his career, he has served as a patrol officer in Central Precinct and South Precinct, as a Vice Narcotics Street Interdiction Unit detective, a Vice Narcotics Mid-Level Interdiction Unit detective, an Intelligence Unit detective, an ATF Task Force officer, and a Homicide Unit detective. He has also served as a member of the Honor Guard and is currently a member of the Honor Guard's rifle team. Sergeant Waxman served 7 years, 3 months in the United States Navy and was honorably discharged in 1994 as a petty officer 2nd class. He has received 13 letters of commendation, was recognized 3 times as Detective of the Quarter, received Employee of the Month and Outstanding Police Performance Awards, and a Certificate of Appreciation. He was promoted to sergeant on January 25, 2021, and transferred to South Precinct. He is joined and was pinned by Sergeant Thomas Cohen. Lieutenant Bradley Churchill. Lieutenant Churchill joined the Newport News Police Department on February 25, 2002. During his career, he served on the North Precinct Patrol and HIP units and on the Organized Crime Division with the Street Narcotics Mid-Level Unit and Peninsula Narcotics Enforcement Task Force. He was promoted to sergeant in 2014 and served over North Precinct Patrol and HIP units on the Criminal Intelligence Unit and in the Training Division. He has also been a member of the Tactical Operations Unit since 2006. Lieutenant Churchill served with the United States Army and retired with 21 years of service. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice from St. Leo University. He was promoted to lieutenant in September 2020 and transferred to South Precinct. Lieutenant Churchill is joined by his wife Julie and his son Chance, who is pinning him. Congratulations. Lieutenant Thomas Peregrine. Lieutenant Peregrine joined the Newport News Police Department on January 16, 2009. During his career, he served as a patrol officer in South Precinct and as a detective in Central Precinct. On June 1, 2016, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He has served as a supervisor for patrol in North Precinct, the Gang Enforcement Unit, and the Federal Task Force. He also served as an investigator with the Internal Affairs Division. He holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Old Dominion University and has received the Outstanding Police Performance Award on 3 separate occasions. He was promoted to lieutenant on December 28, 2020, and returned to South Precinct. He is joined today by his wife, Raina, his daughter, Lana, and his mother, Miha. Lieutenant Shauna Lee Ross. Lieutenant Ross joined the Newport News Police Department on October 25, 1999. During her career, she has served as a patrol officer in South Precinct, a detective for South Precinct Investigation, and as a detective in the Special Victims Unit. On July 16, 2007, Lieutenant Ross was promoted to the rank of sergeant and assigned as a South Precinct patrol supervisor. Later, she served as a supervisor in the Economic Crimes Unit, Professional Standards and Internal Affairs Division, as well as the Special Victims and Domestic Violence Units. Lieutenant Ross holds a bachelor's degree in sociology from Ashford University, is a graduate of the Virginia Polytechnic Institute for Leadership in Changing Times and the Newport News Leadership Development Academy. On December 28, 2020, Lieutenant Ross was promoted to lieutenant and assigned to North Precinct, and then later assigned as a tactical commander. Lieutenant Ross is joined today by her daughter, Emily, who inspires her to make each day better than the last. Emily will be pinning her mother. Not quite winner. We're getting there. Captain Terrence Dunbar. Captain Dunbar joined the Newport News Police Department on July 22, 2005. During his career, he has served as a patrol officer in South Precinct, a precinct detective with South Precinct, and an auto theft detective. He was promoted to sergeant in April 2011 and served as a patrol sergeant in North Precinct, a HIP sergeant with North Precinct, a street team sergeant with the Organized Crime Division, and a training sergeant range master. He was promoted to lieutenant in January 2016 and served as an internal support commander and district commander with Central and South Precincts. Captain Dunbar is retired from the United States Army. He has earned both an associate's and bachelor's degree in science in professional aeronautics from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. He is a recipient of the Silver Medal of Valor, of Life-Saving Award, of Virginia Association of Chiefs of the Police Awards for Life-Saving, I got it finished. A Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition and Outstanding Police Performance Award, 3 Chiefs Award of Excellence, 4 Team Effort Awards, Detective of the Quarter, and a Newport News Fire Department Letter of Commendation. He was promoted to captain in October 2020 and serves North Precinct. Captain Dunbar was joined today by his wife, Cicely, and his daughters, Alexandra and Lauren. They get a little bit longer as we go along. We'd like to recognize too Captain Eric Hires, who couldn't be here today, but who was also promoted to captain in December of 2020. Captain Jeffrey J.P. Smith. Captain Jake P. Smith joined the Newport News Police Department on July 1, 2000. During his career, he served on patrol, the South Precinct HIP team, and as a community resource officer with North Precinct. He was promoted to sergeant in 2009 and served South Precinct, North Precinct HIP team, North Precinct investigations and logistics. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2014 and served North Precinct, Central Precinct, acting captain, community outreach, North Precinct sector lieutenant, CISM commander, and drone unit commander. Captain Smith served with the United States Army from 1993 to 1996. He earned a Bachelor of Arts from Salisbury State University in political science with minors in history and psychology, as well as an undergraduate degree in accounting with a concentration in taxation from Strayer University. Captain Smith has been recognized as Supervisor of the Year and was a recipient of the Fire Department Citation Award and the Chief Cravella Community Award. Yeah. I'll breathe. Okay. He was promoted to captain in November 2020 and served Central Precinct. Captain Smith is joined today by his wife Jennifer, his son James, and his daughter Jenna. His son Elijah is unable to be here today due to his attendance in the Corrections Officer Academy in Hanover. Congratulations. Last but by no means least, Assistant Chief Brandon Creswell. Assistant Chief Creswell joined the Newport News Police Department on October 28, 2002. During his career, he served as a patrol and HIP officer, a narcotics detective, and a precinct detective. He was promoted to sergeant in July 2008 and served the patrol and HIP units and the Special Victims Unit. He was promoted to lieutenant in December 2014 and served on patrol as the Academy Training Director. He was promoted to captain in June 2019 and served North Precinct. He has also served on the SWAT team throughout his career as an operator, team leader, deputy commander, and commander. Assistant Chief Creswell has a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Virginia. He has also completed the Leadership Institute at Christopher Newport University, the University of Virginia's National Criminal Justice Command College at the Virginia State Police Academy, and the Police Executive Research Forum Senior Management Institute for Police in Boston, Massachusetts. Assistant Chief Creswell has received a Bronze Medal of Valor, 4 awards for outstanding police performance, an award for outstanding contribution to law enforcement, and an award for outstanding and dedicated public service from the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of Virginia. He was promoted to Assistant Chief over Administrative Services on December 28, 2020. Assistant Chief Creswell was joined today by his wife Chelsea, his sons Eli and Colin, his father Eugene, and his mother Sally, and his father Pinto. Congratulations to everyone. Let's give them a great big round of applause. Reverend Dr. Riddick will now provide the benediction.
We ask now, Lord God, your blessings upon all of those who have been promoted today, who will continue to serve your people, to serve this community. We ask that you would be with us all as we will depart this place, but never your presence. We ask that you would go with us and that you would keep us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all very much for coming, and please be safe.